right, so joining me on the program right now is Representative Matt Van Epps, a member of the House Committee on Homeland Security. How you doing, sir?
Andrew, doing great. Long-time listener. Honored
to be
with you today.
Well, okay, that's good. So we have a mutual respect here. What? Explain to me the Memphis State Safe Task Force.
Absolutely. So the Memphis Safe Task Force was modeled off of the president's actions in Washington, D.C. to reduce crime. And based on the success of that operation, the president led on this effort, and in conjunction with Governor Bill Lee in Tennessee and local leaders, a federal, state, and local task force came together, and it has had just tremendous results in Memphis to reduce crime. 27% overall reduction, 26% decrease in murders, 48% decrease in carjackings. The president's leadership here has been absolutely critical, and we've seen really good results.
You know, it's funny. One thing about Trump, you'd have to, I mean, look, he's been a rich guy most of his life, but being in Manhattan at the height of crime in this city before Giuliani probably gives him such an appreciation for efforts to bring down urban crime.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, we've seen Memphis is a great city. It's not in district for me, but I've been there a number of times. It is the culture, the history is significant. In 2024, Memphis had the highest rate of violent crime per capita, including elevated rates for murder, robbery, aggravated assaults. I mean, you name it. And the president, he means what he says. He ran on restoring law and order, and that's exactly what he's doing with the Memphis Safe Task Force. I'm also, in addition to being the newest now Republican member of Congress, I'm also still serving in the Tennessee Army National Guard. And I'm so proud of our service members who deployed as a part of that task force to assist local law enforcement. I mean, they're the absolute professionals, and they're out there combating violent crime, and I'm just so proud of their efforts.
You know, honestly, isn't it sad that we're here? Like, this is what I don't understand about the blue cities. Now, I can't speak for Memphis. I can speak for New York City. I can speak for the surrounding area. If you're paying extraordinarily high taxes locally, if you're getting a commensurate quality of life, everybody complains about taxes, right? But if the schools are good, if the streets are safe, if the kids could ride their bikes till the street lights come on or whatever, you know, old Generation X kind of stuff, that if life is pretty good, you don't complain about the taxes you pay. It's when you pay extraordinarily high property taxes, extraordinarily high sales taxes, extraordinarily high state income taxes, and you've got really unsafe cities. What am I paying for then?
Absolutely. Well, you know, I think when what's made Memphis this operation a success is the cooperation instead of obstruction. You know, in other Democrat-run cities, Democrats have fought to sabotage efforts to make their communities safer. But not in Memphis, not with this president's leadership and the leadership of Governor Lee. The partnerships and cooperation between federal, state, and local has really led to this successful mission. And it's the leadership that goes into that. And that's what people, when they pay taxes, that's absolutely right. They expect that. You should never feel threatened and unsafe when you're walking down the street to go to a restaurant or go to church with your family. That's just unacceptable. And this president has executed a really successful operation in Memphis, which is a framework example for the rest of the country.
Well, I don't understand. You know, there was a time when Democrats did want safe streets. I don't know if you'd call them conservative Democrats. Maybe it was just working class sensibility that, you know, you wanted police on the streets and your kids were told to respect law enforcement, and you didn't have 30 kids running into a chain pharmacy or a grocery store or a convenience store and robbing the place, and then local activists say it's, you know, give some excuse. When I don't understand the Democrat Party. I mean, there was a time when Joe Biden would pound the desk about, I don't care why they hit my mother over the head or why they want to fight my son. Bill Clinton signed the COPS program bill. There was a time when Democrats and Republicans were on the same page here. How could you call yourself pro-criminal?
It's such a good point, Andrew. And I just, one of the things that's been most surprising to me, having been in office just 3 months now, sitting on the Homeland Security Committee, I'm on the Counterterrorism and Intel Subcommittee, but it's been the Democrats' just obstructionist efforts here. This 40-day shutdown now that Democrats have executed that is not, it is harming our national security. I mean, this is a really big deal. And it's because of these obstructionist Democrats. And they wanted to defund police a few years ago.
Yep.
And it's the same thing they're doing now. And it's shocking to me.
Let's talk government shutdown. It's not working. Their messaging is not working. I'm going to play you an example. Caitlin Collins is kind of the middle school mean girl of CNN. Even she's not buying Jamie Raskin's performative language bit. Play cut 1.
Donald Trump was the one who essentially exploded the deal when the Republican senators brought it to him.
But then he met with Republican senators. Then he met with Republican senators on Monday night, and they came out of that yesterday and said, we've got this deal that would fund this and just have this limited subsection of immigration enforcement that we'll work on later, which basically Republicans were just going to try to find the votes on their own to pass and have that. And then Schumer sent a counteroffer this morning. That's what derailed it today.
Well, you might be a couple steps ahead of me then.
So even the media is not buying it anymore. The Democrats, this is a Democrat shutdown. This is a Democrat shutdown. We are not paying the Coast Guard. We're not paying TSA. If you are going on spring break, and I am this Sunday, and you're miserable, you miss your flight, it's because the Democrats don't want to pay the people who do the work. And they start between $34,000 and $43,000 depending on their locality. So you're taking your anger at us, I guess, out on people who make $35,000 a year.
Andrew, it's absolutely inexcusable that Democrats are doing this. Republicans are the only ones who have consistently voted to fully fund DHS in both the House and Senate. I've voted twice to fund DHS here in the House, along with the rest of my Republican colleagues. We have a third vote coming up today on this. Matter of fact, I just got off of the floor being a part of my first floor debate, and it was a part of House Resolution 1128 to express support for the House of Representatives for the Department of Homeland Security, and then subsequent to that, it's our Pay Our Homeland Defenders Act, which will be our third vote to fund this. And it is common sense to do this. This is national security that we're talking about. This Democrat shutdown has disrupted normal operating procedures that's weakening our interagency collaboration, will not make America safer. And a point that I made yesterday in the hearing that we had, this under the Biden administration, under the open border policies there, we had criminals coming into our country, putting American lives at risk. And just this week, 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman, murdered by an illegal alien who shouldn't have been here in the first place. Her sister is a student at Vanderbilt University in my district, and that family is suffering unimaginable loss and pain. And I'm just sick of that. And yet Democrats are still keeping DHS shut down, the very department in charge of protecting Americans at home.
It's scary. It's, as much as we talk about this and think, common sense dictates, there's a grand possibility that the Democrats take power back in November. There is.
It is a real possibility. We're working nonstop to make sure that doesn't happen. I think one of the things I'm really encouraged by is that we've outraised Democrats for the first time in a very long time leading into a midterm. So the war chest is there, and we just have to be out there working hard every day. We have the right policies. We have the right vision, and that includes the safety and security of the American people.
I pray. I mean, with what is happening right now in Iran and the millions of people that came across the border illegally, we've learned that Jose Medina has a serious illness. Katie Abraham's killer has AIDS. That obviously we've removed the in-person screening. We've removed the health screening. We don't know if the Iranians have a sleeper cell or multiple sleeper cells in this country. And the Democrats would rather have a pissing contest with the Republicans than secure the homeland.
Yeah, that is absolutely the case, and I think another really important point that came out of our hearing yesterday on this topic. The hearing was called "Funding Lapse and Security Gaps: Assessing the Harmful Impacts of the DHS Shutdown on Americans." One of the things that came out of that is that the Coast Guard can't pay shipyards to maintain its fleet, and contractors are reconsidering whether it even makes sense to do business with the federal government. I mean, it's baffling to me. Now it's too risky to work with the U.S. Coast Guard because of this Democrat shutdown. I mean, the Coast Guard has such an important role to play domestically when we talk about our safety and security in the Arctic. I mean, the Coast Guard is key here, and maintaining their fleet is a key task and responsibility that they have to keeping us safe, and the Democrats are preventing that.
It's just, I mean, this is not a political disagreement anymore. The chasm is wider than it's ever been. I mean, when Trump says these people are crazy, he's not wrong. He's not. And the fact, you said it, or did Joe Gruder say it? Joe Gruder said it earlier, that there's still a major percentage of people that don't see it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. I mean, this is so it's so out of control. We have got to fund Homeland Security. I mean, this is the base premise here to protecting our national security. And one of the things that was also surprising to me when I first came in, into Congress in December, and the first hearing I sat on was the national a briefing on the Homeland and national threats that Secretary Noem was on. And one of the Democrats in that made this just incredibly insensitive comment. This was after the two brave National Guard soldiers were shot, one killed in Washington, D.C., and he said, "Oh, that's just an unfortunate incident." And I'll tell you, it absolutely just made my blood boil. That is completely no common sense. It is so ridiculous, and we have to be better than that. They have to be better than that. And Democrats have got to fund the Homeland Security so that we can continue to protect the homeland.
I agree with you. All right. I won't take up any more of your time. Coming up at the top of the hour. Anyway, thank you for being a listener to the program. That's an honor.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for having me. Look forward to being back again.
All right. Representative Matt Van Epps, Tennessee's 7th Congressional District.